We're tracking alert day conditions today. I'll have the full forecast coming up.
Plus, why the man accused of kidnapping a Beaver Dam teenager will have to wait a little bit longer for his day in court in Dodge County. This is News 3 Now at noon. Thanks for joining us. I'm Josh Spreiter. We start this afternoon with the risk of severe weather. Showers and thunderstorms are expected to move into southern Wisconsin later today. This along with the continued poor air quality conditions due to wildfire smoke from Canada. First 4 meteorologist Jacob Montesano is out on the weather patio with the certified most accurate forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh. Not raining yet, at least not here, but we are seeing that rain move into southern Wisconsin already. Taking a look at the current radar, pretty much everywhere west and southwest of Madison, starting to see that rain right now. The heaviest precipitation is right now in northwest Illinois, but that line of storms does look to push into parts of our area. So those of you in Greene and Rock counties expect to see some thunderstorm activity within the next 30 minutes to an hour, at least for Greene County, Rock County just a little bit later. No severe thunderstorm warnings with this line of storms, but you can see plenty of lightning strikes along with it. Expect to see some pretty heavy rain once this pushes through. Now to the north of that, we're seeing some consistent shower activity, even a few isolated thunderstorms around here and continuing to push into our area. So if you're not seeing rain right now, you are going to see rain probably within the next 2 to 3 hours. And the chance of showers and thunderstorms is expected to continue really throughout the entire afternoon and into the evening. The showers and storms are moving pretty quickly. So although we may see it rain just briefly for a moment, we may see more precipitation move back into the area later. And once we get towards sunset, that's when it looks like we'll see more consistent precipitation, although I'm not going to see quite as much severe weather once we get to sunset, but we are going to see widespread showers and storms continuing for the early overnight hours, clearing up a bit later. Now, as far as temperatures, definitely on the warmer side, lower 80s to upper 70s. You can see those areas that have already seen the rain or are currently seeing it. Temperatures are much cooler for you folks than the places that haven't seen it. So overall, we are going to see those temperatures remain relatively warm throughout the day with the rain chances continuing for through the evening hours. So I'll continue talking more about the alert day conditions and track the forecast for the rest of the week coming up a bit later.
All right, Jacob, we'll see you later in the broadcast. Thank you. And you can track those storms for yourself on the First Warn weather app. It has hourly planners, road conditions, and radar. Download it for free in your phone's app store. Just search WISC weather. The man accused of abducting a Beaver Dam teenager will not be in court today after all. 40-year-old Gary Day faces 2 felony counts of abduction and 2 counts of child enticement. He was supposed to be in court today, but his arraignment has now been moved 2 weeks to June 17th. Day's bond is set at $2 million. Prosecutors say the charges stem from February when Sophia Franklin, who was 16 at the time, disappeared from her Beaver Dam home. Authorities issued a multi-state Amber Alert. In April, a truck driver and his wife later spotted Day and Franklin at a Nebraska truck stop. Investigators say Franklin is pregnant and Day is believed to be the father. Right now, a federal civil rights lawsuit is filed connected to the 8th reported death at Waupun Prison. The suit alleges former warden Randall Hepp and ex-security director Jana Pusic ignored rampant drug smuggling by staff. In doing so, they failed to protect Joshua Botwinski. Lawyers say Botwinski struggled with addiction and mental illness. They say he died from a fentanyl overdose in January of 2023. The U.S. Department of Justice is probing corruption at the facility. Staff have been fired or resigned amid smuggling allegations. This afternoon, the suspect in a Colorado fire attack is facing new criminal charges. Mohammed Solomon appeared briefly before a Colorado judge Monday, facing more than 40 felony charges, including attempted murder. According to court documents, the suspect searched for Zionist groups and found the Boulder Run for Their Lives organization, which marches weekly to promote awareness of the Israeli hostages in Gaza. Law enforcement says the 45-year-old ignited Molotov cocktails and threw them at a group of peaceful marchers on Sunday. It injured 12 people, some with severe burns in that targeted attack. On top of the state felony charges, the Justice Department also announced a federal hate crime charge.
He said he wanted them all to die. He had no regrets, and he would go back and do it again. We've moved swiftly to charge quickly, just to send the message to the community that no acts of anti-Semitism are going to be tolerated and there are severe consequences.
Solomon allegedly told investigators he, quote, had to use Molotov cocktails after he was denied the purchase of a gun due to him not being a legal citizen. If he is convicted just on the federal hate crime charge, he would face a life prison sentence. His next court appearance is scheduled for Thursday. The Wisconsin Historical Society will not fly a pride flag over its building this month. This decision breaks a years-long tradition. Officials say their mission is to preserve and share stories from all backgrounds. But some advocates argue this move does the opposite. Kristen Whitson, an archivist and author, co-wrote a book that the Historical Society published in 2021. It's called We Will Always Be Here. She says the decision not to fly the flag sends a powerful message. Whitson says the pride flag represents inclusion, not advocacy or partisanship.
It's a message that says, we will tell your stories, we will be good guardians of your history. Unintentionally, what they're saying is that their reasons for not raising the flag are more important to them than making LGBTQ plus Wisconsinites feel safe and welcome.
News 3 Now asked the Historical Society what led to their decision. They provided a statement to us saying, quote, they needed to establish a consistent policy for flag raisings and that their support of LGBTQ plus Wisconsinites can be seen in its events, exhibitions, and collections of books and partnerships. Well, coming up next on News 3 Now at noon, why Campbell's says it's seen a jump in sales. Plus, Disney announcing hundreds of layoffs across the company. The reason behind their decision and which areas will be impacted.
Campbell says its sales were boosted last quarter because more Americans are cooking at home. The company said its broths saw a 15% jump, while the company's Rails pasta sauces also rose 2%, though Campbell's snack offerings like Goldfish crackers and Cape Cod chips slid 4% last quarter. The Walt Disney Company is laying off hundreds of workers across multiple units, including film, television, and finance. The company confirmed to CBS News that the job cuts are to help save costs, writing in a statement, "We continue to evaluate ways to efficiently manage our businesses while fueling the state-of-the-art creativity and innovation that consumers value and expect from Disney." The company was not specific on the exact number of employees impacted by the layoffs. And a scorching deal for Dave's Hot Chicken. The company says it has been acquired by the private equity firm Rourke Capital in a deal worth $1 billion. Rourke Capital's holdings also include Auntie Anne's, Subway, and Dunkin'. Dave's Hot Chicken was founded in Los Angeles as a pop-up back in 2017 and plans to have 400 restaurants around the world by the end of the year. The company says its leadership team will remain. That's your CBS News Money Watch report. For more, log on to cbsmoneywatch.com. At the CBS Broadcast Center, I'm Jesse Mitchell.
Here's a look at the stock numbers at the noon hour. The Dow is up 187 points, NASDAQ is up 198, and the S&P 500 up this hour 38. Our call for action volunteers are in the building, taking your consumer complaints and taking action on your behalf. You can call for action at 608-270-2833 or submit a claim anytime at channel3000.com/call for action. Up next, Pam has today's farm report, and Jacob returns with that first warn forecast and later on Live at 4. The newly released research showing promising findings on colorectal cancer. Welcome back. Let's check in now with Pam Yankee from the Midwest Farm Report. Hi, Pam.
Hi, Josh. Yeah, farmers keeping an eye on what's happening with this weather, that is for sure, with the rain coming in. If you've got hay down, not probably ideal, but I'll tell you, the rest of the crops are taking advantage of it. I'll get to the latest crop progress report in just a moment. First, let's talk about something that anybody who is a tractor enthusiast or someone especially that enjoys John Deere Green won't want to miss. Classic Green Reunion coming to Wisconsin. It's going to be happening June 12th through the 14th. Now, to tell you a little bit more about this show, it started in 2018 with a group of John Deere fans that decided they wanted to create their own show and bring people together from literally around the world to talk about the John Deere history, talk about how products were developed, and Wisconsin fits really well into that. So on June 12th through the 14th, they're going to be at the Washington County Fair Park and Conference Center in West Bend, and they are going to be bringing in some of the unique elements of John Deere history, like the Waterloo Boy engines, the Van Brunt drills, which really were started in Horicon, Wisconsin, and also make sure that they're bringing in experts that can address the history. For example, did you realize that the manufacturing plant in Horicon has been a pretty important part of John Deere manufacturing history right on through to the mid-50s. Some folks be sharing their stories there. And the other unique part is they are going to be holding the Washington County Breakfast on the Farm, same events area. So you'll be able to be on one side of the building for the John Deere Classic Green Reunion and the other side for the dairy breakfast, taking you out to a nearby farm. So look forward to that June 12th through the 14th. I mentioned that the planting progress report came out yesterday, and most of the market is already through and past making this a newsmaker, but Wisconsin's doing pretty well. 93% of our corn in the ground, 70% called good to excellent. 90% of our soybeans planted, 80% good to excellent. Pasture conditions may be a little roughed up after some of the rain, 72% of that called good to excellent, but still doing pretty well. The other story that we're kind of watching, last week, Tuesday, there was an inaccurate story about screwworm being found in cattle in Kansas. Inaccurate, bluffed the market, took the cattle market down. They're still trying to recover from that misinformation that was shared via social media. Today, the barrel cheese went down 3 at 184. 40-pound block cheese down a penny and 3/4, 193 3/4. AA butter on a Tuesday down a penny, $2.50 a pound. Yeah, that AI-generated stuff now, Joshy, is really starting to become a conversation with traders. How do you know if it's accurate, inaccurate? Where were the sources? So much of that stuff can almost be fabricated. And USDA has said that's not our report. That is incorrect information, but the damage had already been done in the marketplace.
You know, that's huge, and obviously a lot of industries are seeing the AI usage, and everyone's investigating. I mean, we're seeing that here in news as well. I mean, it's the future, but It does make you rethink about some things.
Yeah, like I said, it's going to be interesting to watch how this whole kind of dynamic moves forward.
Absolutely. All right, Farm Babe, thank you.
See you later.
Well, we're tracking the chance for some rain and storms this afternoon. First Warn meteorologist Jacob Montesano has the forecast. Hi, Jacob.
Hey, Josh, here's a look at the 3 things you need to know. We are going to see those storms today like we've been talking about, with another small chance of rain for Friday and Sunday, although we're not expecting anything major at this moment. And after today, with those storms rolling through, temperatures will cool down a bit, but they're still going to be very comfortable going forward, as we'll continuously see highs in the 70s. Now, before I talk about the storms, do want to mention that we still have that air quality alert. This is for all of Wisconsin until at least noon on Wednesday. It does look like it may start to get better towards the end of the week, but at least for the rest of today and a good chunk of tomorrow, we'll still see the lower air quality. Now, as we take a look at the alert day, again, we are expecting the possibility of a few strong storms, but even if we don't see the severe weather, we're still going to see rain for just about everybody, as we're seeing that rain right now. Now, this is going to be mainly for the afternoon into the evening hours, but we may continue to see some precipitation overnight. So here's a look at the current radar. Again, we're starting to see that rain continue to push into the rest of southern Wisconsin, with the heaviest rain looks like it's just about to impact you folks near Monroe, as we're seeing a line of some heavier precipitation and some stronger thunderstorms in northern Illinois pushing into southern Wisconsin. No severe thunderstorm warning with this line of storms just yet, but it definitely could produce some severe weather. But as you can see, plenty of lightning with it. Now, as we look at the severe weather outlook for today, it is a little bit less compared to what we've been seeing for today over the last couple of days. It decreased the slight risk completely, but we still have a marginal risk for everybody, and that includes a small chance of an isolated tornado. So here's a look at future track for the rest of the day. We're really just expecting on and off showers and thunderstorms, with the best chance of severe weather occurring in the late afternoon into the evening hours. And then once we get closer to sunset, although we're still going to see some rain, in fact, it looks like around sunset is when we'll see the most consistent rainfall. This precipitation at this time likely not going to be severe, although maybe places to the east of Madison could still see some severe weather early tonight. And then that precipitation is expected to clear out overnight into Wednesday morning. Still might see some lingering precipitation for parts of the area Wednesday morning, but the majority of our area shouldn't see anything. So as far as the severe weather hazards, the most likely will be strong winds with a minor chance of some large hail and a minor chance of a tornado as well. And we also could see some minor flooding, but overall the flooding concern, we're not too concerned about that risk. So beyond this rain chance, we still are going to see a few other chances of rainfall over the next couple of days. We could see some rain return Thursday night into Friday. It looks like it'll be more on the lighter side, and that's going to be the case for the weekend as well. but after today, nothing is expected to be too heavy, and temperatures will be very comfortable as well. So as we take a look at the full 7 to 10 day forecast, a lot of days we're going to see highs in the 70s. And for the most part, we're not going to see any day produce rainfall throughout the entire day. Again, this is all after today, where we are going to see those storms continue for the afternoon hours. So pretty nice conditions, all things considering, moving forward, when it's not going to be too hot and we're not too concerned about drought conditions forming with those small chances of rain still expected.
Yeah, I'll take the 70s. All right, Jacob, thank you. Now let's see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
It's June, and that means we have a whole summer ahead of us to enjoy summertime favorites. And nothing is more welcome than a big bowl of potato salad. Although I'm normally a traditionalist when it comes to deli salads, that all changed once I tried the new deli salad that we just came up with. All we do is boil up about 3 pounds of red skin potatoes until they're fork tender and drain them really well. While they're cooling, we toss together some olive oil, red wine vinegar, a bit of basil, a little sugar to cut the vinegar, and some salt and pepper. Once the potatoes are cool enough to handle, we cut them up and add them to our dressing, along with some celery, red onion, and a bit of red pepper. Now, to take this over the top, we add some fresh from the freezer veggies that we've thawed. Today I'm using green beans and corn, but feel free to use whatever you have on hand. After tossing it, we end up with the freshest, most summery potato salad ever. What a nice change of pace to the heavier deli salads that most of us grew up eating. I do hope you'll go online and get the recipe for our farm stand potato salad so you can make this a welcome addition to your summertime go-to favorites. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found the freshest way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Very nice.
After the break, Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin returns with a new recipe to try out this summer. We're back at noon. Angie Edge from Dairy Farmers of Wisconsin is back with us today with a delicious recipe involving Wisconsin cheese, of course. Hi, Angie.
Of course, 2 types of Wisconsin cheese.
Gosh.
And summer is here, and it's a great time to kick back on the patio, enjoy some cheese, get the grill going, and we have a great flatbed recipe that you can make just on your own on your grill right in the backyard.
This is perfect for the whole family, too.
Yeah, exactly. And you can use different variations depending on what people like. You can either buy a homemade crust or a 20-ounce ball of dough. It makes 2 flatbreads, and then you can grill that for 2 to 3 minutes just to get it a little bit blackened, for it has a nice crispy crust. And then the bottom layer is a Wisconsin Fontina cheese. This is a wonderful melting cheese made by a Wisconsin master cheesemaker, made by Carr Valley, and it's just a beautiful cheese. It's a base for a lot of great pizzas. And then on the grill, you're gonna grill some tenderloin steak. Then you're gonna have some onions, some cherries, and some portobello mushrooms. So all of those flavors together, the sweetness of the cherries, the onions, it really is just a little bit of a unique type of flatbread to make. Yeah. So you can also grill these and then put them on the top, and then you can actually add more cheese, of course. So we actually have a Wisconsin blue cheese that we're going to put on top. This is a Pentacream Blue, also made by Carr Valley by a master cheesemaker. It's made with 5 times the amount of cream. That's why it's Pentacream.
Oh, okay.
So it's really creamy, melts in your mouth, and it actually won the best cheese in the world at the International Cheese Contest.
Wow,
so
that's cool.
A local favorite. And then you can also put some microgreens to give it a little bit of color, maybe some arugula. It really just makes it look like a sophisticated flatbread. It
really does. Looks bougie.
And then if you want to add, a little balsamic vinegar, it looks like something you'd probably get at a restaurant, but really so fancy for your backyard.
Yeah, you're going to be the talk of the neighborhood with that, right?
Yeah, and if you don't like certain things, you can use variations. All of the recipes are found at wisconsincheese.com. We have a summer edition of our Great Pair Share magazine that has just a ton of fun, grilling, and entertaining recipes, all featuring Wisconsin cheese.
All right, Angie, as always, thank you so much.
You.
Appreciate it. Let's go to Jacob now for a final check of the forecast.
Yeah, we're still seeing some rain push into the rest of our area. Heaviest rain is moving into Greene counties, but we're going to continue to see some scattered showers and thunderstorms throughout the day. So keep close to your phones and keep an eye on that radar. You could download the First Warn Weather app.
All right, we'll be tracking it today live at 4. And again, we're always streaming 24/7 on Channel 3000+. Thanks for joining us.